What would you do if someone left you a $10,000 tip on a $20 meal? That's exactly what happened to a waitress in Texas. But when she found out who left it, her entire world turned upside down. This is the unbelievable, true inspired story of Emily Carter, a young waitress who learned that one small act of kindness can return to you in ways you never, ever expect. Emily Carter was 26 years old, living in a small town just outside Dallas, Texas. She worked double shifts at a local diner called Maggie's Place. Every single morning, she'd put on her faded uniform, tie up her hair, and force a smile even, though life was anything but easy. Her mother was sick, and the medical bills were piling up higher and higher each month. Emily was barely earning enough to cover her own rent, let alone those crushing expenses. Still, she never complained. She greeted every single customer with genuine warmth, because she truly believed that kindness costs nothing. She held on to that belief, even on her toughest days, convinced that putting a little good out into the world was always the right thing to do. She had no idea how right she was. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon when a man walked into the diner. He looked to be in his late 50s, wearing a simple gray jacket and a well-worn baseball cap pulled down low. He sat all by himself in the corner booth and ordered the lunch special, just a burger, fries, and a coffee. Emily served him politely, just as she always did, but she noticed something more. He seemed tired, maybe even a little sad, so she offered him something that wasn't on the menu, a genuine, heartfelt smile. She leaned in slightly and said, "Hey, if there's anything you need, just let me know. My name's Emily." He looked up, his eyes meeting hers for just a moment. He nodded softly and replied, "Thank you, Emily. It's been a rough day." When the man finished eating, he quietly asked for the check. The total came to $21.45. He paid with cash, stood up without a word, and walked out the door. Emily went over to clear the table, expecting to find a few dollars at most. But what she saw next left her completely frozen. Tucked under the plate was a thick stack of $100 bills, $10,000 in total. At first, she thought it had to be a joke, maybe fake money. Her heart pounded in her chest as she looked around the diner, but the man was gone. Her hands trembled as she scooped up the money and ran to her manager. "Someone left this on table 7. She cried out, her voice shaking. They immediately checked the security cameras, replaying the footage over and over. It was real. No mistake, no camera trick. Someone had just left Emily $10,000 for a $20 meal. By the very next morning, the story had absolutely exploded. It was like a wildfire. Local news stations were calling the diner nonstop. Reporters were camped out in the parking lot, all wanting to get an interview. Everyone wanted to know the answer to the same question. Who was the mysterious, generous tipper? Emily, overwhelmed but grateful, told everyone she'd used the money to pay her mother's hospital bills. It was a miracle she desperately needed. But deep down, as the cameras flashed and the questions flew, she couldn't stop wondering, who was that man? And out of all the people in the world, why did he choose her? 3 days later, the mystery was solved. A man walked into the diner holding a newspaper with Emily's picture on the front page. It was him, the same man who had left the tip. Emily gasped when she saw him, her heart leaping into her throat. "Sir," she exclaimed, rushing over to him. "I've been trying to find you to thank you." He just smiled gently, a kind and knowing look in his eyes. "You already did," he said softly. "That day, you were kind to me when no one else was." Then he explained everything. "My name is Robert Hayes. I used to own this diner. My wife and I built it from the ground up 30 years ago." Emily's eyes widened in disbelief. She suddenly remembered a faded photograph hanging on the diner's wall, a picture of the original founders. It was a younger version of the very man standing right in front of her. Robert continued, his voice filled with emotion. "My wife passed away last year. She used to always say that true kindness is rare, but when I met you, I saw that same kindness in you that she had." He told Emily that the $10,000 was a thank you gift, and that he wanted to make sure the diner, his wife's legacy, stayed in good hands. But he wasn't finished. Before leaving, Robert handed Emily a large manila envelope. Inside was a letter and a single shiny key. He smiled and said, "This place meant everything to me and my wife. We always dreamed it would be run by someone with a good heart. I think that person is you." The letter revealed his plan. He was retiring, and he was leaving half ownership of the diner to Emily. She broke down in tears right there in the middle of the dining room. In just 1 week, her entire life had been completely transformed. Not because she was lucky, but because she chose to be kind, even when no one was watching. Today, Maggie's place is still open, bustling with happy customers, with Emily as its proud co-owner. Near the entrance, there's a small, hand-painted sign that reads, "Be kind." You never know who's sitting at your table. Sometimes, the smallest gesture, a simple smile, a kind word, or just a moment of genuine care can come back to you in the most beautiful and unexpected way. Because the universe never, ever forgets a good heart. If this story touched your heart, please show some love by hitting that LIKE button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories that inspire hope, kindness, and our shared humanity. Thank you for watching.